Hello, nieces and nephews. This is your Uncle Bill. Just having a little sip of water before starting up, and we're live. This is week 15. That's 5 times 3. Whoa! Year 2022. Hard to believe, and it's Create Week. And as always, Uncle Bill does have 5 crazy things from his house to share about creation and crazy things. First one isn't really creation, but it's a project. Hello, Bridget. Great to see you here. This one's a project of mine. I was hoping it wouldn't be a project, but this was my cool recorder, which I got off of shopgoodwill.com. Well, once you know it, the sneaky people at Shop Goodwill, they weren't really. I've only had 2 things from Shop Goodwill that let me down, and this was one of them, because this was sold. Yeah, they're all sold as is, but you assume that there's a certain amount of, I don't know what you would call ability to fix. This battery was so corroded shut, I can't even open up the battery case. I had to take the thing apart to determine that, yes, my guess that the batteries were corroded in this and not able to be used. And right now, I still can't open up the door, which I'm working on. That's a project for the future. I think I paid like about $50 or $60 for this too. Whoa, time's up. No, not really. So that's number 1, which is a cassette, which is a project. Now, number 2, let's see. I've already shown a cutting board, so we're not even going to use that. My 3x5, which I've already shown. Now this is something that I'm working on, trying to figure out what to use it for. This is a very expensive plastic bag. Why is it so expensive? These are the Flume bags that will keep out just about, well, they'll keep out any gas, except including oxygen, when you're getting your house termited. These are the bags that they give you for putting your food in. And I have maybe about 50 of them, probably about 25. I'm just exaggerating. That's number 2. And I'm trying to think of something creative to use them for. One of the things that I would love to see, and I would love to see somebody invent this. Hey, Andrew, great to see you here. I would love, oh, by the way, anybody watching this, you need to go to Andrew's Simple Cooking. If you don't know anything about cooking and you want to learn, that is the channel to go to, is Andrew's Simple Cooking, so that you can get recipes on how to cook. Back to plastic. Just as we had trash compactors that came out in the 70s, we need to have home plastic digesters. Something that you would put your plastic into and it would compact it and digest it, or make it into small plastic bricks so that it doesn't go into the ocean. I was over at Bridget's house the other day. I had really thought that I figured out a way to have I can't remember which device it was, but oh yeah, it was my phone. I was going to charge my phone over there. I ended up using Bridget's charger, because the charger that I brought, not only was it a USB-C charger and my phone is a USB mini, but it also had a 3-prong plug. These things are indispensable. If somebody could make a universal adapter for all electronic devices, the thing would probably be as big as a house, but it would be nice to have. That's number 3. Number 4, I went out camping. This is a camp story. I thought I would take my bucket here. You notice it's got a little circle there. And I put it on top of the table. And the poor desert animals, also I filled it up with water on top of the table. I saw coyotes when I was out camping too the other week. They were running through the campground at the same campground that I had this on top of the camp. When I came back, it was leaking. It was leaking here, and it was leaking here. I blamed the birds, even though I didn't see any of them pecking at it. But I was sure that the birds had done it. Now that I've investigated more, there's a seam that goes along here and right across from it at 180 degrees is a seam that goes here. And for some reason, they both developed a pinhole at the same time. That's another project for maybe this week. Number 4. And along with number 4 is, I was thinking of replacing that bucket, but I couldn't find any collapsible buckets. So I found a collapsible bowl. And this bowl actually holds the same amount as the bucket. What I'll do is, and I got it for $2.99 over at the 99-cent and up store. Nothing's 99-cent only anymore. There's a hole here. I'm going to put another hole over here. Then what I'm going to do is have line go all the way around and then up and through. And the reason for getting it all the way around is so that I'm not stressing here. It's uniformly all along the rim, and it should be able to hold water fairly easily. And believe it or not, this is the exact same amount of water as the bucket held. The only problem is this one does not pour as easily. You notice there's no rim for pouring. So what is that, 4 or 5? Anyways, I have one more, which I might do because this is Create Week. There was a nice following for my last wood creation. These things are great. They're only $1.25 over at the Dollar Tree. You know, the Dollar Tree should pay me for the amount of advertising that I give to my favorite store, the Dollar Tree, which is no longer the Dollar Tree. It should be called the Buck and a Quarter Tree. And the 99-cent only store should be 99-cent and up store. But anyways, wood chop. These are cute. I'm kind of impressed with these because they also come with glue along with the wood. And it used to be $1. As a matter of fact, I paid $1 for this one because I bought it before Dollar Tree went up to $1.25. Lastly, I don't know what number this is, but I know I'm over 5. I had a friend who also camps, and she told me, you got to get one of these. And what this is a collapsible wash bin for while you're camping. Folds up nice and flat, and it works just like that. Those are all of my secrets and tricks. Oh, no, actually, I have one more. For when you go camping, you should always be prepared to not have fire. Why do I say that? Because you sometimes, like for instance, in California, we have high winds warnings. We can have strong enough winds that you can't even use a camp stove. when you bring your food, you should have food that you can eat cold. And also, you need to be prepared to have drinks that you can have cold. For instance, coffee. I don't know about you, but I'm basically one of these people who, don't talk to me before I had my morning cup of coffee. If I can't brew it, that's even worse. These are great. You can get those over at the 99-cent and up store. I haven't been able to find them over at the Dollar Tree yet. Sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. What I get over at the family grocery, bargain grocery outlet center, I was over there yesterday and bought a bunch of fun stuff. And then my little screwdriver kit, that might come in handy. It will come in handy when I take the Olympus recorder apart to get the corrosion. So which one should I probably work on for create? Does this even qualify for creating if I get this back working again? Because it ain't going to work now, unfortunately. Ask for a refund. Yes, I should, but Bridget, it's not worth going through the hassle. And this is kind of like a project. I'll get my $50 worth out of it just for the sheer joy. And the other thing is with Goodwill, they basically do say, if it arrives broken, it ain't our fault. The only thing is I did write, and I didn't ask for a refund, but I did say party foul, because they went through the trouble of taking this microphone off, and they showed pictures of this, and it was a lot worse. And they said some minor scuffing, blah, blah, blah. But 99, more like almost all the time, they do check to see if they can get batteries out. And there's no way in the world that they didn't notice that this thing did not open. So, yeah, it was a little deceitful on their part. But then again, I look at the people that work there, and they need the money. So I consider it a donation to the Goodwill. Let's see. Yes, it would be a little irritating. It's too bad. I'm getting like Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis, I saw today in the news that, although it's very old news probably, he's got some sort of disease where you lose the ability to communicate verbally. I would not want that. I can just imagine how frustrating it is to be able to eat and just not be able to have people understand what you want to say because you can't get the words out. Wow. And they should have checked. Yes, Bridget, you are so right. They should have checked. And that was one. And then the other time that it happened was not really Goodwill's fault, because they checked enough that I had a camera that the autofocus doesn't work on at all. So one of the probably 20 cameras, well, I bought between 10 and 20. I know I've gotten at least 10 from Goodwill. Probably 11 cameras. I don't know. I didn't count them all. But it's fun. I do love shopping at Goodwill, and I'm working at curbing my appetite, and I love action cameras. These things are great because you just put them in your pocket and go. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, I'm going to get a new ID card because Uncle Bill let his retired military ID card lapse. So I've been not going on base for a while because I don't want to go through the hassle of pulling out my Veterans Administration card and letting them know that my VA card is supposed to let me onto base. Not all the base guards know that your VA card should let you on base. Most of them do. I can see my 4th grade me and myself project in the background. Oh, this one. Yeah. It's out of focus because that's what you do. You get that bokeh effect. And you can get that either with a really expensive camera or with a thrifty webcam. Now, that thrifty webcam was pretty expensive when I bought it, probably 10 years ago. I think I paid $120 for it. It's a Logitech HD webcam. Lots of fun. I have a lot of, and then there's your picture right there that you drew of yourself. I can't remember what it said. Let's see. I can't read it from here. Speaking of not reading and not seeing, I can't believe it. I'm getting to that age. I walked in the house after taking out the garbage, and I'm walking around like this. And I can't even read the type that's this big anymore from a distance of more than about 5 feet. It's just amazing. Thank goodness for Zenny Optical. These are Zennies actually right here, because I found that the progressives, I like the bifocals better for when I'm at the computer. And no questions. Wow. Andrew, is your mom going to be cooking any recipes soon? Or I hope your mom is doing okay. My mom is not. She's into the last stage of dementia where you just don't want to do anything. So we'll see what happens with that. Andrew, are you still here? I hope so. Bridget, you're still here. And what are we going to do after the live today? Are we going to, we're going to exercise and go, yeah, poor grandma. Exactly. It's not good to having those things. And I was just kind of curious, looking up the diagnosis for Bruce Willis versus dementia. Dementia is a lot worse than what Bruce has. But what Bruce has is probably more to contend with. I mean, can you imagine walking around and not being able to communicate? That would drive me crazy. Is your sight at night good for driving? Yeah. And not only that, if you get, speaking of night driving, my new Zennies, which are these, whoa, look at the magnification on these. These are really good for night driving because they have the blue filter. If you can get the blue light filter with your glasses, get it. It is amazing how much of a difference it makes for night driving. The other thing is, if you have Polaroid glasses, they are awful for when you have a Garmin or you're using your phone for navigation, because when you look over, the light off of the display will be almost impossible to read because it'll be very dark. There's a lot of polarized light that comes off of those displays. Mom had a number of requests asking her to do more cooking videos. Yes, I loved it when your mom cooks. I think your mom will bring you up to 1 million subscribers. It's amazing between the two of you. What a powerhouse. I mean, I'm a lot jealous. But I wish you the best, man. You are an amazing channel, and I send people there all the time because you're so giving, and I know that people that reach out to you, you help, just like anybody who reaches out to me, I help too. I just did a comparison video between TubeBuddy and Thumbnail Blaster, and then I remembered TubeBuddy does something that none of them, or maybe Thumbnail Blaster used to do it, and I can't remember how to do it. That's the problem with doing so many different programs to actually produce videos and produce thumbnails. I think I counted for the thumbnail that I used on the video, I used maybe 6 or 7 different programs to make it. Even a simple little video thumbnail. It was funny. Yeah, I was wondering about whether your mom is going to be doing, because I noticed you, when you and I were talking, I think last year, you had said that your mom does the baking, but I've noticed that you've done a couple of baking videos too on your channel. And 9 more minutes. 9 more minutes. Thank you very much, Bridget. Bridget is my moderator extraordinaire, middle child extraordinaire. And Bridget's recovering from a major operation, and she's doing quite well. Another month and a half, she probably won't even remember that she had it. Nah, she'll remember. We all remember major operations. Hey, speaking of health, Uncle Bill's got to go in for a CT scan. I haven't shared this with anybody, but I might as well share it with the world. When I went in for my oncology visit, damn if they didn't find a suspicious lymph gland on my left side right over here. And he goes, "Can't you feel it?" And he pushes it, and it's like, "Yeah, I can now." Hurts like hell. Whoops. Anyways, it's a good thing that I say that these are for adults only. That was my one slip up. That's probably the first time I've cursed on YouTube. Maybe. I don't know. I got friends who curse all the time. It's funny. I don't know what the appeal is to curse on media where people can see you, and there's plenty of other ways to get expressions across. How's the weather in England these days, Andrew? And one thing that I've realized that Uncle Bill does a lot on video and a lot every day, you never realize what you're doing until you start filming yourself. But I sniffle with, I have sinus problems, and I never realized how much I sniffle during the day. I probably sniffle at least 1 or 2 times a minute, almost every time I breathe. It's crazy. That is why you don't like, oh, because he swears so much? Yeah. It just doesn't do anything for the program. And it's, I don't know, Gordon Ramsay he's kind of like the altar boy that really is kind of a little mean. You know, actually a lot mean. But he can cook, and I'm impressed by people cooking. And the one I really like is Bobby Flay. Although I watched the Beat Bobby Flay videos and shows on TV, Bobby Flay's gotta fall down, be bleeding from the neck, and have not even put his food in the oven for you to not lose on Beat Bobby Flay. All ties go to Beat Bobby Flay. If your dish is just a little bit better than Bobby's, they'll find some way to say that your dish was not as good as Bobby's. I guess when you own the show, you get the dough, or however, I don't know what the saying would be, but oh, kitchen gadgets. Let's see, have I done any kitchen gadgets lately? I will be doing them shortly. I'm behind on videos too. I have a couple of them in the can that I'm editing. I did get, I have another camping video on top of, well, actually several camping videos in the can that haven't been edited. I'm going to start for everybody. What do you think of the idea of campfire videos? Much like they have videos at Christmas time, the Yule log videos, coming campfire videos. When I went to Agua Caliente, I set the camera up and I have 30 minutes unedited, unscripted, just basically the camera rolling. And of course, there had to be half a bag of marshmallows cooked in the process. Then when I went up to Vallecito campground, oh, it's so funny too, at Agua Caliente, you think you're in a desert, there isn't much animals. Well, because there's water there, there's tons of animals. There were frogs, hummingbirds. I have pictures of the hummingbird, because they want to get cooled down and they want the water. They don't care that you're right next to them, because they're going to get that water, because that water means life or death with them. So they're going to get it. I like the sound of campfire videos. Okay, great. Now with the campfire videos, what I can't remember if I think I have a really faint soundtrack on them. Very faint, so that you can hear the campfire, but you get the people next to me were yep. So you have campfire banter, I guess you could call it. It's going to be fun. I last time camping did 2 campgrounds in 2 nights. Did the Vallecito and Agua Caliente both in the same week. They are literally only 7 miles apart from each other in the county. It's like night and day too between the 2 campgrounds. Agua Caliente gets the money, Vallecito gets ignored. I was a little disappointed because when you go to the Vallecito, they advertise that there's the stage coach, whatever, that's been restored and everything. You can't even go inside of the thing because it's fallen apart. And the restoration, I was talking to the camp host, and she said that the restoration was falling apart faster than the original construction. They actually, can you believe this? They put on an old, probably built in the 1700s or 1800s, probably 1800s, a cement roof on the top of the thing. Well, that's really good for the walls and size. Insane. And did you notice this, Bridget? Right there? Those are my lips. I had some fun. And then we have this. Oh, this one went out. Oh, no, not. It's trying to go out. Those are the battery operated ones. Yeah. So this week is Create Week. I'm still up in the air. I'm either going to be working on this, maybe doing where'd it go? The model, which is over here. Or what I might be doing is breaking out my heat gun. This plastic is actually the same plastic that my garbage cans are made out of. What I can do is cut it into strips, use my heat gun, and repair my garbage and recycling bins because after 9 or 10 years, they're looking a little shabby. They need some help. And guess what, folks? It's 2:00. I love you all. Have a great week. Thank you for joining in. If you're on the replay, hit the like and subscribe. If you're not on the replay, hit the like and subscribe. Although if you're subscribed, don't hit the subscribe because then you unsubscribe. I found that out the hard way once with somebody's channel. That's pretty crazy. They should, I don't know how they should do that. Maybe we should have 2 buttons for people like me. Love you all. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.